Yay. So here we are, Mindful Monday back in full swing. And we've got a beautiful meditation um, geared up for us tonight. And we've done this a few times before, I think, in our mindful meditations. I know that I try to do this at least once a year where we actually go through each organ and do an emotional cleanse. And this is such a powerful tool for us to have as an ongoing practice. And especially as we think about jumping into a new year and this new year of the tiger and all of what life is bringing us. And so yes, tonight our primary practice is a deep dive into going through the organs, and let's do this deep emotional cleanse. And so, just as per usual, what we do when we come together as community in our Mindful Mondays is we just kind of drop into heart space, into sacred space together, and knowing that this is a safe place for us to dive into the matters of the heart, the matters of the soul, and that we are held in this sacred space. And so calling in the directions, our guides, and all that is in support of our being in our highest good, so that we can create this sacred space. We're thanking our guides for being here, the ancestors for being here, and thanking Pachamama for holding us and transmuting any energy that we're willing to let go of this evening. So we're so grateful for our guides and all that is to support us in this way, and just bringing a sense of gratitude into our practice really opens up so much for each of us. And I just want you to know how grateful I am for you in being here. And that's whether or not you show up for the actual meditation on Mondays, or if you tune in through YouTube. I'm just really grateful to be able to share these practices with you. And so here we go. We'll just take a nice deep breath in and exhale. And as we take another deep breath in, I want you to connect with your heart space. So taking a deep breath in with the intention of really connecting deeply with your heart. And exhale. We take this time to connect with our heart. Maybe even connecting for the first time today with that heart space. It's our electromagnetic field in which becomes that deep interconnection with the Pachamama and with all beings. We send out like a gong in our heartbeat to say hi in our resonance. And so a lot of times we're not even connected with our own heart. And so it's always good to start our practice with coming home to your heart, feeling your heartbeat, and saying hello. Hello to your heart. We're going to start into our settling meditation, and I want you to now move that awareness from your heart and bring it to the top of your head. And just feeling, sensing, and we're going to begin to just bring ourselves fully present in the moment, in our physical body, with our awarenesses. And so by bringing your awareness to the top of your head, I want you to go ahead and open up that crown chakra. That's picturing, sensing, feeling what they call that lotus flower that is positioned right at the top of your head. And so with breath and intention, we begin to open up that beautiful lotus flower, petal by petal. And so just thinking that with each breath in, we're connecting and softening. And with each exhale, we can open and expand in a space, in a spaciousness, allowing ourselves to soften at the top of the head. And just by design of doing this, we allow our channel to open up to the divine, to the all that is, to the eternal Tao, to the great cosmos. And we soften. We soften that area around the temples just by bringing the awareness and breath to that area around your eyes and your temples. With each breath and each softening, we come just a little bit more home. Home to the body and home to the present moment. And so we allow that awareness and that softening to progress through the body and come down through the jaw. Really releasing. We tend to hold a lot of tension in the jaw, clenching down on life. And so we just soften. We breathe in. And we allow the spaciousness in the jaw. And we allow it to begin to trickle into the cervical spine and through the neck. And just really open to that spaciousness and see if you can soften just a little bit more. And we drop our shoulders. We carry so many burdens, oftentimes right there in the neck and shoulders. And so coming back to the moment and coming back to the awareness of the body and what is truth in this moment, we can set those burdens down and just be present with the truth of what is in this moment. We can set the burdens down and soften. Just softening those shoulders and allowing the weight of the world to just roll off of your shoulders. Maybe even taking a deep breath in. And perhaps even that audible sigh of relief on that exhale. And dropping into the chest and seeing if we can go a little bit deeper in relaxing, settling in, feeling the muscles in the chest. Perhaps even that rise and fall of the chest as you breathe. Each one of your breaths just bringing you a little closer to home. Home in your body. home in your space. And breathing in to the belly. Into the belly we soften and we just come home. This is an area that a lot of us don't even like to acknowledge, the belly. This is also an area where we store a lot of things. So we just come home and acknowledge beautiful belly, breath into the belly. I love you, belly. And we come into that awareness of the pelvic bowl and all through the hips, and see if you can just breathe in and soften and let go of some of the tension that is being stored right now in your hips. And just allow your hips to just soften and open. Feel that sense of freedom. And breathing into the legs. And bringing that awareness to your legs and softening. Really bringing yourself into the present moment of what your body is. And just allowing for spaciousness as you release any tensions that you've picked up and you decided to carry in your body today. And so we bring our awareness now to our feet. And with breath and intention, I'd like for us to establish a beam of light that comes from the bottom of the feet and extends deep into the core of the earth. So take a nice deep breath in. And on this exhale, we're going to picture, sense, and beam that light. Here we go. In breath. And send that beam of light down, down, down from the bottom of your feet. Deep into the core of the earth. Thanking Pachamama for grounding us and for holding us so sweetly today. And we also thank the Pachamama for helping us to transmute energy today. So we'll be using that beam of light to send any sorts of energy that's not serving your highest good down through that beam of light into the sacred womb of the Pachamama, where that fire that is in there can burn, transmute, shift anything that we're ready to let go of today. So we just come to this space of awareness of our body. And knowing that in each moment, in each breath, we have this opportunity to be right here, right now, in the present moment. We want to stay in the present moment as much as we possibly can, because here we can be awake in our life. Here we can be awake to those great mysteries and the synchronicities and all the beautiful little winks and nods that the universe sends us on a daily basis. We see those magical signs that the universe is sending us, and we also know that here in the richness of this moment, in the softness of this moment, that we can make choices. We can choose how we wish to be in our life. When we're in the present moment, we are not allowing our old beliefs, our old traumas, the things that have happened in the past to dictate our choices right here, right now. So we come back to the present moment and say, what is truth right here, right now? When we're in the present moment, we're not allowing worry, fear, and all of those things that happened in the past. We don't allow them to dictate what our choices can be right here, right now. When we're in the present, we are sourcing from what is truth right here, right now. And in that, we can choose how we wish to feel without all of the baggage. We can call in right now that felt sense of how we really choose to be in this world. The felt sense of how we really choose to be in the world. So for instance, in this moment, we can totally accept what is. What is in your room? What is the space around you? The people that are coming in and out of your space. The chair you're sitting on. The literal things that are truth right here, right now, that are. So as we navigate these times that we are in right now and all that is happening in the collective, it can start to take its toll. And so we understand that this collective energy can have its mark on us. And so we have to practice coming back home to the body, to the breath. And we understand that life in it of itself can create anxiety, stress. We understand how our reactions to life and its challenges and all of those stressors can become manifested in the physical body and in our nervous system. So our meditation this evening is such a powerful tool that can help you to shift the state of your nervous system and can help you feel more mindful, more grounded, joyful. Just coming back. So we look at the term fight or flight and rest and digest, and are typically referred to when we think about the nervous system or the autonomic nervous system. However, there's different aspects of the nervous system referred to as the polyvagal theory. And this is where the vagus nerve comes into play, the longest nerve in the cranial nervous system. And this really starts to think about how we respond in each moment. And when we think about this system and how it relates to our nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, what we start seeing is that the feedback to the body's homeostasis gets pretty jumbled when we start pushing down our feels. So when we're in a stressed out state or potentially anxious state, it starts shutting down our want to be curious or our empathetic way of being. And in addition to not being able to be empathetic or curious, we are also not able to break that prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that is responsible for the executive function, our communicating, our coordinating functions, right? And so these different parts of the brain go offline, so to speak. And it essentially means that we're not able to regulate our attention and our focus. This is where brain fog comes in. And it's my feeling is that we have, as a collective society, have been quite in the state of fight or flight, and it's become the norm. And so we get into this responsive survival strategy mode and thinking that we have to, everything starts increasing to a certain degree. And so as we start going through our guided meditation today, what we want to do is go through the organs and clear some of this emotional response so that we can reset the nervous system in a deep way. That we can reset the nervous system so that we are out of a fight or flight, and that we can actually move some of this collective energy that maybe we take on, as well as some of the pains and sorrows, the sufferings, the traumas that we have taken on in our life and stored them right there in the organs. Sometimes it's too painful to bring it up, or we don't have processes in order to really move through how to deal with some of this suffering. And so the natural propensity is to shove it down, not deal with it. So, as we come back to this present moment and knowing that we really want to live a joy filled life, we've got to start clearing out some of this energy, frequencies of some of these traumas. So, we're just going to go ahead and bring ourselves back into the heart space. So, just bring your awareness, taking a deep breath into your heart. And we're going to just allow the feelings to bubble up in the safety of this moment. And some of those tucked away in the back of your heart can really feel like negative emotions that are associated with hate, cruelty, and impatience. And so we want to look at where perhaps hate and cruelty and impatience have been projected upon us. And we thought that was real. And we didn't know how to deal with that. And so we just tucked it deep into the heart. And just allow that grief and that pain to just rise. And in this tender space, you can choose right now to offer forgiveness. Forgiveness to yourself. Forgiveness to your heart. And yes, you can even forgive those who have maybe even projected this towards you. Forgiveness is a path of freedom. And oftentimes we think we need to have the person there to say, I'm sorry, in order to forgive. But this is not truth. We forgive for our own purpose of healing. And so in this beautiful, tender, vulnerable space, I want you to gather all of that hatred, that cruelty, that impatience, all of that suffering that is in your heart. I want you to gather it with your breath and intention. And on your next out breath, if you so choose in this moment, send it down that beam of light through your feet. Let it go with loving kindness. Let Pachamama go ahead and shift that. Shift that energy. So taking that deep breath in, gather it all up. Exhale, letting it all go. Deep, 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 thanking Pachamama for transmuting this hatred, this suffering, this cruelty. We ask you to transmute it Feeling it, all the little pieces way deep down back in the back of your heart. Go get it. Deep waves of sadness bubbling up. Let it go. Allow it to be transmuted. And taking a deep breath in, we breathe in kindness into the heart, generosity into the heart, pure bliss, love into the heart. Beautiful. And feeling that spaciousness in the heart. Feeling that kindness penetrating, that pure bliss love penetrating every cell in your heart. Beautiful. We're going to move our awareness now to your lungs. Just feeling, sensing, saying hello to your lungs. Here is where we tend to store our grief, our sadness, and what some may even call depression stems from deep sadness stored in the lungs. So we're just allowing that grief from losing loved ones, rather from death or discord in relationship. Deep sadness that we carry for the state of our planet. The deep sadness for thinking that things shoulda, coulda, woulda been something different. We store all of those, I shoulda done this, and feeling a sense of sadness. We just allow it to all bubble up. It's safe for you to see it. It is safe for you to feel it right here in this moment. But it's not something we want to carry any longer. We don't want dis-ease in our body. And so what we do is we just offer a sense of forgiveness to this deep sadness. Forgiving the sadness itself. Forgiving the lungs. And forgiving any situation or any person, including yourself. Yes, forgiveness. Sometimes that deep sadness can come so deeply in every cell that we just don't even know where it came from. And this is where we find the DNA sadness, right? The deep sadness that we have perhaps brought in from the lineage. And we forgive this too. Sometimes we just don't even know what the root cause of the sadness is, and that is okay. We can forgive this too. We don't have to know all of the reasons why. We can just say, oh, in this moment, we're going to release the sadness and the depression from our physical body. It no longer dictates our choice right now. So we gather it all up with breath and intention. And on our next exhale, we're going to send it down through that beam of light through the bottom of your feet for that transformation, sending it to the fires of the Pachamama. So taking that deep in breath, gather it all up and exhale. Shoo, sending it down, down, down. Whew. Getting all those pieces. And sometimes it just feels like such a relief just to acknowledge it, eh? Yeah. Yes. And with beautiful deep in breath, we're going to breathe in this space of joy. Breathe in joy to your lungs. Breathe in that sense of positive emotion that stands for courage. Right there in your heart chakra, your lungs, we can breathe in courage. And we want to acknowledge in this heart chakra, in these lungs, this space of vulnerability. And recognizing that it takes great courage to be vulnerable, to be soft, to be open. So we can breathe that courage into the lungs. Really feeling that sense of the lungs expanding and the spaciousness and the breath, the ease in which the breath can actually move in and out of the lungs right now. Beautiful. And we're going to come into the awareness of our midsection, the stomach, the spleen. We want to look at your spleen and your pancreas. And just do an emotional scan there. Here is where we like to store our worry, our anxiety. And right there in the stomach, you might find areas of mistrust. Let it bubble up. There you go. In this moment, right here, right now, there is not a thing that you need to worry about. There is no place to go and nothing to do but be here right now, clearing out your pancreas. When we are caught up in worry and anxiety, most of the time we're thinking about the future, which, by the way, means that you're not in the present moment. So when we think about worry and anxiety, we're afraid of something is going to happen, and most of the time it's based on something that has happened in the past. I don't want that to happen again in my future. So we're caught in this realm between past trauma and fear, really, and anxiety that it will happen again, or even worse. And what that does is it takes us directly out of the present moment and out of the choice. It takes us away from the choice of how we really wish to be. Because we know as we come back to the present moment, it's filled with choice. And we can say, do we really want to choose to be caught up in anxiety? Do we really want to worry about something that's not even here now in this moment? No, we don't. We want to be here now. We want to be in the space where things are in right relationship, where we can trust, where we can be open and honest and speak what's on our heart, speak what's going on in our mind. Where we can trust the moment, the truth. We always talk about the search for truth. And the only thing we have to do to search for truth is to come home to this moment. Come home to now. What is truth? Truth is you're sitting on a chair, breathing, going through a guided meditation, searching for worry in your pancreas. This is truth. So all that stored up worry, all that stuff that you push down, that anxiety that you don't want to feel, but it's just there. And I want some of you to go to your gallbladder and just do a scan, because there is some fear there. Yeah. There we go. We're going to gather up all this worry and anxiety, scanning the spleen, scanning the stomach, scanning your pancreas. We're going to gather it all up. And on our next exhale, we're going to send it down through that beam and give it to the sacred fire of the Pachamama. So taking that deep breath in, gather it all up. Exhale it down, 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 deep into the Pachamama. Thank you, thank you, thank you for transmuting this energy, for bringing us into the space, breathing it in of trust, breathing in where things are in right relationship, where you can be open and free. Knowing that all is well. You can trust that. We trust the process of this life. We trust that everything happens in divine order, always. Beautiful. And just feeling that expansionness, that balance, that sense of homeostasis in those beautiful organs. The spleen, the stomach, the pancreas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to come into the liver and the gallbladder. Into the liver and the gallbladder. Just go ahead and do a body scan. And this is where we store this anger, this frustration. And even so, we can find jealousy and envy stored in here. And those are some of the lowest frequency emotions, jealousy and envy. And so we inherently know that. We don't want to feel it, but yet it may pop up. And what do? We stuff it. We stuff it in the gallbladder. We stuff it in the liver. We don't want to feel angry. For many of us, that meant that there was going to be volatile situations that follow anger. And so the last thing we want to do is express anger so that there doesn't happen a volatile situation. And so it's not been cool to be angry over the years. Yet these are all emotions that we have as this human capacity in this meat suit, in this time. Anger can be a beautiful thing in that it moves us from one situation to the next. It calls us to move and move quickly, oftentimes. And so it can be for your highest good. But what we don't want to do is have anger, jealousy, frustration, and envy pushed down. Or when it's projected upon us by others, that we somehow internalize it. That we sometimes go, ooh, wow, that's mine. When in fact it's somebody else's. So we want to do that deep body scan and really go through the liver and the gallbladder. And we want to clear, deep cleansing. We want to forgive those who have projected envy and jealousy upon us, are really coming from a place of feeling unworthy. And we can have empathy and compassion for them. We can forgive. We can forgive those who have projected anger and frustration on us. And we can forgive ourselves. Yep, we can do that right here, right now, and just offering forgiveness to the anger, to all those places where you felt frustrated and maybe even jealous. We can forgive. Deeply, deeply forgive. And so on our next in-breath, we're going to gather up all of that anger, that frustration, that jealousy, that envy, and we're going to send it down through that beam of light deep into the core of the earth. So taking that deep breath in and exhale, sending it down with deep forgiveness, with loving kindness. We ask for Pachamama to transmute this energy into that kindness, into that generosity, into that space of expandedness where we can be curious about our expansion, and curious about how we can be more generous and kind, how we can explore the sense of unity within our world, within ourselves, within our community. And just feeling that expandedness, that kindness in the liver. And we're going to come into the awareness of our kidneys, the kidneys and the bladder. Deep fear here. We like to store our fear. Right on top of the kidneys are those adrenal glands. And so this is where we squirt that cortisol and those fight or flight hormones. So we want to bring that back into right relationship and relieve that fear. Collective fear that you may have stored from the collective energy that's out here. Or fear that you stored from trauma of your past. Real things that happened to you created a sense of fear. Right here, right now, in this moment, you can choose. You can choose not to live from a space of fear. You can release that. It does not need to dictate who you are from this moment on. So fear based on things that have happened to you, perhaps early on. Fear that has been brought in again, like we said earlier, through the DNA, through the lineage. Very real fear that has been imprinted on your epigenetics from your ancestors. We can choose to let that go right here, right now. It doesn't need to own you anymore. It doesn't need to be a part of your physical story, your emotional story. How we can choose to release fear. So gathering all of that up. And on your next exhale, go ahead and send it down, down, down into the earth. Sacred fires to release. Release, release, release. Forgiving it all. Forgiving it all. Anyone that has created fear in your life, we forgive. We forgive yourself. Of course, we forgive the ancestors. It's just beautiful to be in this space of forgiveness. And we breathe in a sense of calmness, a sense of gentleness. It's feeling this sense of peace. Peace. Peace in the body. Peace in the mind. Peace in the soul. And we want to complete our organ cleanse meditation today just by taking a nice deep breath, and we're going to do a scan, and anything that is residual that you feel we haven't touched on today that's being stored in your organs, let's go ahead and scan, gather it up, and with breath and intention, we're going to go ahead and release. So scan those organs for anything that's left over. And send it down, taking that deep breath and offering that forgiveness. Forgive. 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 And we close our sacred space today thanking the Pachamama for helping us today, and thanking all of us for coming in and doing the deep work, and thanking all of our guides who have been with us and helping us to transmute and shift in our consciousness. And I would like to leave you with a thought, and that thought is, your body is your monitor. It tells you when you're out of balance. And to go through your body and offer forgiveness is a beautiful practice. It can often tell you when your emotional self is out of balance. And so when we're in touch with our physical self and the little aches and pains, it's good to do that deeper inquiry. Your body is important. Stay home in your body. Stay home in the now. Stay home in the present moment. You're worth it. You are so worth it. You matter. You make a difference. We need you here. We need you here and now, present. And so taking a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. All is well. Mwah.